In the night, the Mosha clansman left Mengna City without a sound, rushing into the sky and returning to the automaton ship. Within the control room of the automaton ship, Luo Feng sat on the sofa, his expression cold. He ordered softly, "Depart to Swallow Mound City." The automaton ship immediately accelerated and headed towards Swallow Mound City. "What's the matter, Luo Feng?" The demon Babata sat on the sofa too. "About 50 years ago the Rainblade sect was destroyed." Luo Feng frowned. The elites were all wiped out and the one who destroyed the Rainblade sect was actually their head disciple. About 30 years ago, a silver-haired spirit reader appeared and killed the culprit before leaving. "Where's little Naku?" the demon Babata asked. "According to the descriptions of the two guards, I suspect that the silver-haired spirit reader is little Naku." Luo Feng said, "Back then I left him a spirit reader training method. If I'm not wrong, little Naku has very likely gone to Swallow Mound City." The demon Babata nodded. So, the automaton ship was swiftly flying in the space outside Blood River World. After a day, it arrived in the space outside Swallow Mound City. According to the old method, the core would be within the body and the body would remain in the automaton ship. The Mosha clansman would then quietly enter the cloud layer and head towards Swallow Mound City. Night. The cold wind howled. In a mountain forest 10 million kilometers away from Swallow Mound City, there was a cave in the mountain. Pa. A bonfire burned, causing the cave to be filled with warmth. "Father." The tall silver-haired youth laid a cloth on the ground. In his hands food appeared. "Let's eat. We fled so far in one go, we're at least 10 million kilometers away from Swallow Mound City. And we haven't entered the city but in the wilderness. It won't be easy to find us." The middle-aged man with messy silver hair nodded. He picked up the wine beside him and the food on the cloth. As he ate, he smiled at the youth before him, his eyes filled with joy and pride. He exclaimed, "Cuckoo, you're much more mature than before. For your father to be able to see you before I die, the heavens have treated me well. Tell me, why did you suddenly disappear back then? I was so anxious to find you." "Dad." The silver-haired youth Naku shook his head. "The details are like this." Naku recounted everything that happened that year in detail. Nabu's eyes opened wide. I was the one who allowed you to leave with Lord Feng? Then erase my memories?" Neb was surprised but then he laughed. "Yes, I would indeed do that. Tell Dad this is how you've been through all these years. I see that you seem to have suffered a lot." The aboriginals of Blood River World were all naturally Earth level, Star Traveler level, and due to the vast area, Blood River World had many special bloodlines. Not family. Their bloodline was also a little special. When they reached adulthood their hair would turn silver. "It's like this, that year I was taken away by Big Brother Feng." The silver-haired youth Naku slowly narrated. "That night I escaped from Mengna City. At that time I swore to avenge Master. I met my other master on Tonglian Mountain. I've temporarily bid farewell to my two sworn brothers, and returned to Swallow Mound City alone. Coming to Swallow Mound City, I've controlled my muscles and bones to change my appearance. Plus, back then there weren't many warriors in Swallow Mound City who recognized me. Now that I'm cloud level, I secretly investigated and found out that my family was wiped out, but you were still alive. I was pretty sure there was a plot, so I first entered the city leader's residence to become a general after half a year." Naku spoke for over an hour before he finished recounting the events of these 80 years. Nabu looked at the youth in front of him, not daring to believe. This cautious, sly and decisive youth was that blind, hot-blooded, silly little Naku from back then. His son's experiences were indeed rich. Mengna City, Tonglian Mountain, Flame Eye Clan. Naku had experienced so many things, he had been on the edge of life and death time after time, he had been trained. "You've grown up." Nabu sighed softly. "The one I need to thank the most is Big Brother Feng." The silver-haired youth smiled. "Big Brother Feng has indeed prepared too much for me. Because of this, I can climb back up again and again. Finally reaching cloud level. However, cloud level isn't my goal is domain level and even world level." Nabu nodded, extremely happy. His gamble back then was right. Currently within Swallow Mound City. Within the city leader's residence. "You said you can't find him?" The purple-clothed lady stood in the hall, staring coldly at the city leader Pu Yangwen. Pu Yangwen bowed in fear. It's me. Speak clearly." The purple-clothed bewitching lady's eyes flashed coldly. "It's my mistake, I've already sent 1,000,000 troops to search in all directions." Pu Yangwen's forehead was covered in cold sweat, because he was only a low-level domain level, while the purple-clothed bewitching lady in front of him was a high-level domain level, and she was even the beloved disciple of the World Leader Si Yong. She could kill him at any time. And the only thing he was asked to do, to watch over Nabu, he had made a huge mistake, how could he not be afraid? Idiot. Trash. The purple-clothed bewitching lady laughed coldly. 1,000,000 troops? You already said it before, it's your general's problem. That general is a cloud-level spirit reader master. His flying speed is extremely fast, flying tens of millions of km in one breath isn't hard. You sent 1,000,000 troops to search in all directions? Tell me, aren't you stupid? Pu Yangwen was stunned. Scram. The purple-clothed bewitching lady raged. Yes. Pu Yangwen retreated. When he walked out of the room, the originally terrified Pu Yangwen's eyes flashed with disdain. Right, I'm an idiot. If I wasn't an idiot, why would you support me to become the city leader? Wait for my master to give the order, We'll see who's the real idiot. Within the hall. The purple-clothed bewitching lady glanced at Pu Yangwen, shaking her head and laughing coldly. Useless, luckily I didn't place my hopes on this idiot. D. The purple-clothed bewitching lady flipped her hand, and a communicator appeared in her hand. On the screen, a map appeared and on the map there was a dot of light. The purple-clothed bewitching lady immediately laughed. Who was staring stupidly at it? At that time I made him sleep and implanted a small communicator in his heavily injured body. Wouldn't I know his location at any time? Communicators, compared to universe ships, were billions of times easier to create. Those world lords had given their subordinates communicators to the important people under them. The purple-clothed bewitching lady, as the world leader Si Yong's right and left hand, it was extremely easy for her to get all sorts of communicators. The distance is indeed over 10 million kilometers. The purple-clothed bewitching lady laughed. I'm not in a rush to catch him, I'll watch first. I think that silver-haired man will bring that Nabu to see that mysterious expert Feng. The purple-clothed bewitching lady immediately sent a message to her master Si Yong. Following which she flew out of the city leader's residence alone. In the dark night, she rushed into the sky, heading towards where Nabu and Naku were. She's the strongest in Swallow Mound City. Swallow Mound City's army is in turmoil. According to our investigations, they've all gone to find Nabu and the silver-haired general. That silver-haired spirit reader general should be Naku. And this woman, flying out so late at night, it's very likely that she knows where Nabu and Naku are. A black silhouette followed the purple-clothed bewitching lady through the skies. Over 10 million kilometers, even though the purple-clothed lady was a domain lord level 8, able to reach 1,000 kilometers per second under the strong gravity of Blood River continent, she still had to fly for over 3 hours before she finally landed in the forest. I won't disturb him for now. My master will be here soon, I can take the chance to catch Feng. That mysterious expert Feng actually dared to kill my 2 brothers and the undying shrine envoy, he really deserves to die. The purple-clothed bewitching lady stood on a 3m thick tree branch, looking coldly into the distance. Her aura was completely hidden. Domain lords were indeed experts in hiding their auras. And at this time, behind the purple-clothed lady stood a black-clothed man. The purple-clothed lady seemed to sense something, looking curiously behind her, seeing the black-robed Luo Feng in midair, her expression changed greatly. Black-clothed? Short black hair? You are Feng? The purple-clothed lady's expression was serious, staring hard at the black-robed man before her. You're looking for me? Congratulations, you found me. The black-clothed Luo Feng nodded. Shio. The purple-clothed lady's eyes gleamed, immediately unleashing a spirit attack, simultaneously preparing to attack with her spirit weapon. Wong. A beautiful glint of a blade flashed, it was dazzling and mesmerizing, the purple-clothed lady couldn't help but be dazed, following which her entire consciousness fell into darkness. The flash vanished, LuoFeng's blood shadow blade was kept in his storage ring, casually grabbing the lady's neck. The lady only had a small wound on her abdomen, the flash pierced through her life core, killing her. In terms of strength? After 80 years of training, the internal world had swallowed large amounts of precious metals, its efficiency had reached 52 times. 80 years was equivalent to over 4,000 years, and Domain Lord Evolution level 7, 8 and 9, these last 3 levels all required 1,200 years, from Domain Lord level 9 to Sector Lord level 1, it required about 5,000 years. Right now, the Golden Horned Beast, Mosha clansman, they were both Domain Lord level 9. And in terms of their levels they were even more ridiculously high. Relying on the Mosha clansman that could amplify the origin laws by 10 times, it was terrifying to the extreme. Who is it? Within the cave, the silver-haired youth Naku's expression changed, standing at the entrance. It's me. The black-clothed Luo Feng walked over from mid-air, in his hand was the purple-clothed lady's corpse. Feng, big brother Feng. The silver-haired youth Naku stared wide-eyed. Feng, Lord Feng. Nabu was very shocked too. The silver-haired youth looked at the corpse in Luo Feng's hand even more shocked. This is the world leader Si Yong's 3rd disciple, she. The black-clothed Luo Feng casually threw the purple-clothed lady's corpse on the ground. You guys are in danger now, the world leader Si Yong is rushing over. Si Yong? The silver-haired youth Naku and his father were both confused. Si Yong was the ruler of this world, an existence akin to an emperor. Si Yong knows you're here and is on his way. When Luo Feng killed the purple-clothed lady, he discovered her communication device. He also used his quantum computer to scan it and learn many things. How could we have been discovered? I brought my father here and we were already very careful. Naka didn't dare believe it. Because your father's body was implanted with a communication device. Luo Feng said. What? Naku turned to look at his father. Nabu's face was also filled with confusion. Naku immediately used his spirit power to check his father's body, and after a careful look he found a small device on his father's leg bone. He immediately said, Father, bear with it, I'll help you take the communicator. Naku roamed these years, he had heard of the existence of communication devices. Usually, those who were equipped with communication devices were at the domain level. A black light streaked across Nabu's calf, and a communication device was swept away by his telekinesis. Immediately he used his telekinesis to stop the bleeding. Furthermore, with his father's physique, such a small injury was nothing. Luo Feng ordered the quantum computer, signal scan, see if there's only one communication device in his body. Yes, master. The AI sent out a signal to scan the area. Confirmed. Only one spot. It's been taken out. Yes. Luo Feng looked at the father and son before him. Nabu, you two hurry and leave. Oh right. With a flip of his hand, a storage ring appeared and he threw it to Naku. This is. Naku was startled. Money, said Luo Feng. Since he was about to leave Blood River World, the wealth here was naturally useless. However, the hunting plan had allowed Luo Feng to accumulate a shocking amount of wealth. Right now the amount he gave Naku and his son was only about 100 times the wealth of a city leader. Luo Feng didn't take out any more. Too much was not a good thing for little Na. He had given enough. Hurry and leave now. Luo Feng ordered softly, the further the better, as for Si Yong I'll help you block him. Big brother Feng. Naku couldn't help but shout. Lord Feng you? Nabu could not believe his eyes. Still not leaving. Luo Feng frowned and shouted coldly. Naku and Nabu were both people who had been tempered and were very direct people. At this point he didn't say anything more. Naku immediately brought his father, stepping on a simple spirit weapon, becoming a beam of light and leaving. Watching the father and son leave, Luo Feng smiled. Little Naku, this time I've come to Blood River Continent, it can be said that we have some fate. In the future it's up to you. Luo Feng said softly, after which he rushed into the sky and landed on a nearby peak that was 1000 m tall. Standing alone there, he gazed into the distant horizon. The Domain Lord level is no challenge to me at all. Only the Sector Lord level is interesting. Come Si Yong. Luo Feng stood on top of the mountain, allowing the wind to blow against him as he silently waited. A silver-black flying saucer appeared above the 15th layer of clouds above the mountain. According to the location shown on the communicator, it's here. Si Yong, with his ocean-like blue hair and black armor, had thin lips that made him seem cold. Following which, the spaceship behind him disappeared, and he himself became a black beam of light that charged downwards, straight for the 15th level, the 14th level, until he broke through the first layer of clouds and headed towards the vast forest. Suddenly, he stopped in mid-air, frowning as he looked at the black-clothed man standing at the peak of the majestic mountain. I'm called? The black-clothed man stared at him from afar. Feng. Feng. Si Yong's world energy spread out and immediately discovered the purple-clothed lady's corpse. His face twitched. My disciple. Dead. The black-clothed man said coldly, I killed her. Si Yong's gaze was like lightning, his expression twisted as he roared, you actually dare to kill my disciple in my territory, you're just a little domain level. If you want to fight, then cut the crap and fight. The black-clothed man's gaze was sharp, filled with fighting spirit. Si Yong was stunned. A domain level challenging a world level? What a joke. After the shock he raged. Aha. Si Yong laughed from rage, you're looking for death. The mountain wind howled coldly, however Luo Feng felt the blood in his body burn incredibly hot, boiling constantly. Because the blue-haired black-clothed man before him was a Sector Lord, and based on his energy he should be Sector Lord level 4 or 5. Domain Lord level 9 challenging Sector Lord level 4 or 5. And there was even a huge gap in between? Madman. Even the strongest geniuses of humanity wouldn't dare be so arrogant. Because the difference in levels was too huge. Just in terms of pure strength it was tens of times different. What's more, Sector Lords could form a world to suppress their opponents. Even the most powerful human geniuses wouldn't dare to do something so crazy. But Luo Feng dared. In terms of genius level, he was comparable to Bolin now, the pinnacle of humanity in the universe. And he was even the darling of space, the universe's strongest assassin clan. Mosha clansman. Domain Lord level 9 challenging Sector Lord level 4 or 5. Luo Feng stared at Si Yong who stood in mid-air, his fighting spirit growing even more fervent. The two suddenly went silent. One stood at the peak of a majestic mountain, the other in mid-air, they faced each other, both silent. Rumble, suddenly the sky and land changed colors. Si Yong, dressed in a black armor, floated in mid-air. His long hair danced and his eyes shot out a glaring white light. He laughed loudly, just you and you want to fight me? Immediately the surrounding rocks, including the majestic mountain below LuoFeng's feet, began to crumble and crumble. Countless rocks rose up and floated in mid-air. A blur of rocks floated everywhere. Go. Si Yong pointed at Luo Feng and ordered coldly. Who? Almost like a raging wind howling, countless rocks pierced through space, thousands of times more powerful than 10 million arrows. They all enveloped Luo Feng, almost as though they wanted to turn his entire body into a sieve. Si Yong was a Sector Lord level 5. Even though he controlled so many rocks, every rock had the power to kill a Domain Lord level 9. With so many gathered together, the power was unimaginable. Purely using strength to suppress. Rumble. Countless rocks smashed down, causing the surrounding mountains to crumble and the ground to crack. Mountain after mountain crumbled and countless trees fell. Every rock produced a shockwave. As the shockwaves clashed with each other, the surrounding 1,000 kilometers area was filled with countless high-pressure shockwaves. As it swept across, it was a scene of destruction. Your rocks are flying too slowly. A voice resounded. Si Yong turned abruptly and looked at the far-left Luo Feng. He was shocked within. This punk called Feng, he's so fast. In an instant, his speed is definitely much faster than mine. Much faster. Show me your true abilities, otherwise killing you would be too boring. Luo Feng flipped his hand and the blood shadow blade appeared. Looking at his opponent, his eyes burned with the flames of battle intent. Shwa. Luo Feng immediately rushed forward. One charge was shockingly fast. Even though Si Yong was prepared, he was still shocked. Almost instinctively, Si Yong projected his internal world. The vast world energy immediately warped the surrounding 1,000 kilometers of space, changing everything. The scenery changed. Before, it was a broken mountain range in the night. However, now it had become an endless ocean, and below it floated a few ice mountains. Luo Feng immediately felt a terrifying pressure. His entire body felt like it was shackled. This is the symbol of a sector lord, the strongest thing a sector lord relies on to suppress a domain lord, a world? It's indeed powerful. Under the pressure of the world, all my strength drops. Luo Feng licked his lips, his eyes burning with passion. This is more interesting. I'll give it my all and fight. Under the pressure of the world energy, over 10,000 Luo Feng suddenly appeared in the air above the ocean. The blur of silhouettes made Si Yong jump in shock. My god, even under my world pressure he can form over 10,000 images? His comprehension of the space laws, just what level has he reached? Si Yong was completely shocked. Forget about Blood River World, even in the entire universe, there weren't many such insane beings. Hua! A resplendent flash of a blade lit up. It was dazzling and mesmerizing, and at the same time the surrounding space seemed to be controlled. A formless space energy pressed down on Si Yong's surroundings. Through the space pressure, it was completely comparable to the pressure of this world. Just what level has his space laws reached? As Si Yong was shocked, a black and a white all appeared before him. The white all carried with it an endless cold energy. The surroundings became ice crystals and snow as it clashed against Luo Feng's blade. Chi. Luo Feng felt his body tremble. Fresh blood uncontrollably spat out from his mouth, simultaneously shouting, "Shadow!" Oh. Luo Feng's silhouette immediately became strangely blurry, forming a blurry silhouette around him. This caused Si Yong's expression to grow serious. Suddenly, a blurry silhouette seemed to teleport beside him, simultaneously bringing with it a fierce and ruthless blade that slashed towards Si Yong. Block it. Si Yong retreated, controlling the black all beside him to block. Dang. This powerful blade actually forced the black all back, following which its aura grew stronger and it slashed at Si Yong's neck. Rumble. For shields appeared before Si Yong and floated around him. Luo Feng's blade struck the shield right in front of him, causing Si Yong's entire body to explosively retreat 100 kilometers. Mosha clansman's strongest move. Illusionary 7 blades. Burial. Before coming to Blood River World, his strongest move was the Dutchman's pipe. And as the golden horned beast had been studying the first claw all these years, its comprehension of it was extremely fast. This first claw had already become Luo Feng's strongest move. And the first claw was very close to burial in many aspects. Studying the first claw, it made Luo Feng's comprehension of burial soar by leaps and bounds. 80 years later, this move had become the Mosha clan's strongest move. Burial. What was a burial? He exerted all his strength and sacrificed himself to unleash the strongest, most ruthless and most ferocious attack. Incomparably ruthless. Si Yong, who was forced to retreat, had an ugly expression. Looking at the 4 shields and dual-colored alls in front of him, I was actually forced to use my world, defensive weapons and offensive spirit weapons in such a short amount of time. Before this, Si Yong would never have thought that he would be forced by a domain lord to use all his moves. Yeah. Si Yong's face was flushed red. He roared angrily, staring at the distant Luo Feng. Punk, I'll let you know that a domain level can't defeat a world level. Impossible. The surface of the ocean raged and roared, the ice mountains on the surface rose and fell, and the leader of this world Si Yong floated in midair, his expression furious. Obviously being forced to such a state by a domain lord in such a short period of time made him incomparably furious. This was a humiliation, a sector lord's humiliation. There's no point in talking. Luo Feng was dressed in black and stood in midair in the distance. His body once again became a blur. Using the Mosha clansman to unleash the illusionary techniques, he was like a fish in water. In close combat, his instantaneous speed far exceeded the sector lord before him. A blur appeared. Si Yong immediately retreated. Explode. Si Yong roared. Immediately the 2 black and white alls before him began to glow with an incomparably glaring light. The surroundings of the white all were incredibly cold, causing the air to form ice crystals and snowflakes to fall. Around the black all, however, there were waves howling and black water forming around it, causing the entire all to seem like a black dragon. Rumble. A black water dragon and a white ice dragon intertwined and revolved, even causing the entire world to tremble. Endless world energy flowed into the 2 dragons, of which the black water dragon was filled with endless energy and the white ice dragon was filled with absolute killing intent. This move was called the dual dragon stab. It was an ultimate move that Si Yong had comprehended after studying the water origin laws. Maybe his comprehension of the origin laws was far from Luo Feng's. However, it was after all infused with origin law energy, and in terms of pure strength and the pressure of the world, it made his advantage too obvious. Rumble. The 2 dragons revolved, almost like a huge electric drill, immediately forming a blur and arriving before Luo Feng. He's indeed raging, that's fast. Luo Feng, who was pushing his technique to its limits, looked at the black dragon and ice dragon that were about to reach him. Immediately he became a blur, changing his direction and dodging. At the same time, a hexagonal shield appeared in Luo Feng's hand, moving slightly to the side. This push seemed simple, however it was almost as though the surrounding space was pushed forward. Boom. The revolving black water dragon and white ice dragon were slightly affected by the space pressure, after which they clashed against the hexagonal shield. The moment they clashed, the two energy dragons exploded. The terrifying explosive force almost immediately blew Luo Feng away, fresh blood spitting out from his mouth, the hexagonal shield in his hand flying far away. Shio. The cores of the two energy dragons, the two black and white spikes, revealed their true bodies and pierced straight towards the flying Luo Feng. Shwa. Luo Feng, who was in mid-air, immediately dodged. Over 10,000 images appeared around him. First collision, second explosion, third stab. Luo Feng looked down at his arm. The left arm that was grabbing the shield was completely broken. His hand was filled with fresh blood, however the black energy wrapped around it and instantly healed it. Infused with origin law energy, world energy, a world assisting, two spirit weapons working together. This move's power is strong enough. Si Yong, who was hovering in the air in the distance, originally revealed a trace of joy. However, he immediately became enraged and roared, "You are still not dead? I don't believe that you won't die. Go." Si Yong roared. Simultaneously his face went pale, gritting his teeth and pointing at the two spikes, almost as though he was using all his consciousness to control the spirit weapons. The two sharp awls instantly drew two arcs in the air. Countless ice crystals condensed around the white awl, forming an incomparably clear giant ice dragon. As for the black awl, it was surrounded by black water, forming a black water dragon. Compared to the previous move, it was obviously much clearer. The two dragons' claws, horns, wings, they were all clearly visible. Die, die, go and die. Si Yong was completely mad. Howl? Howl? The two huge dragons whistled past the surroundings. It was unknown if it was the roar of the dragons or the sound of the shockwaves created by the extreme speed. The two seemingly real dragons whistled as they circled, whipping their tails, waving their claws and smashing their bodies. Immediately, countless illusions disappeared and Luo Feng was forced into a difficult situation. The absolute difference in strength is 10 times, he also has a world assisting him, and he understands the water origin laws. And he's a spirit reader that's very hard to deal with. Even if I'm the Mosha clansman, it'll still be tough for me to fight. However, only this can be considered a challenge. Luo Feng completely pushed his movement to its limits. The Mosha clansman was originally the strongest assassin clan, walking the path of assassination, and the illusionary techniques were also on this path. The illusionary technique paired with the Mosha clansman, it was indeed a perfect match. Under Si Yong's mad howl, even though Luo Feng was injured time and time again, at least he was able to keep his life. As for the injuries, the Mosha clansman was an energy life form. Injuries could swiftly recover. Chi. Luo Feng's mouth leaked fresh blood, after which he flashed once again. Chi. The blade flashed and was clawed away by an ice dragon's claws, and that ice dragon's entire claw shattered, however it immediately reformed. Luo Feng however flew backwards from the impact, his body flashed once again and vanished. How can this be? Why isn't he dead yet? Si Yong's eyes stared wide, his expression furious. He's just a domain level, I'm a world level. Just what kind of ghostly movement is this? It's actually this fast, it's this strange. Getting injured time and time again, it actually doesn't affect him at all. Si Yong floated in mid-air, controlling the two spirit weapons to attack Luo Feng. Obviously Si Yong had the advantage, however that didn't mean he could win. He was suppressing Luo Feng, however Luo Feng was still fine, his movement was still as ghostly as ever, his attacks were still incredibly terrifying and shocking. This made Si Yong even more furious. I can only shrink the area. After shrinking the area, my spirit weapons have to attack in a smaller area, the efficiency will be higher. Si Yong realized the problem, as the area of battle was too large, Luo Feng could teleport 10 kilometers in a flash. Instantly over 100 flashes, the space was huge, Luo Feng could unleash it. The two spirit weapons naturally couldn't turn the advantage into victory. Rumble. The two dragons retreated and approached Si Yong. Before, when Luo Feng was within a 100 kilometers radius, he would be attacked. However, now that the two dragons retreated, only when Luo Feng was within a 30 kilometers radius with Si Yong as the center would he be attacked. Shrinking the area. Obviously the efficiency would be higher. Smart, you've finally realized the problem. Luo Feng, who had been forced into a difficult situation, unable to get close to Si Yong, his eyes gleamed and he immediately rushed towards Si Yong. As he rushed towards Si Yong, the two spirit weapons as the cores of the two dragons didn't move at all. When Luo Feng got extremely close, the two dragons roared out. The distance was close, allowing the black water dragon and white ice dragon to reach Luo Feng in an instant, so fast that Luo Feng's dodging was difficult. This exchange caused Luo Feng's entire body to tremble, spitting out fresh blood from his mouth. Even his nostrils and ears were bleeding, stumbling backwards while dodging. Ha ha ha. Seeing the obvious advantage, Si Yong laughed loudly. World level is world level, domain level is domain level, no matter how much of a genius you are, you will still die without a doubt. Shwa. Luo Feng dodged again and again, closing in on Si Yong. The distance was close, there were advantages and disadvantages. The advantage was that Luo Feng's speed was fast, at close range he could occasionally reach Si Yong. The disadvantage was, at close range their attacks were faster and their reaction time was shorter. Shwa. Like a ghost, with a flash, he broke through the 30 kilometers distance, immediately reaching 100 m away from Si Yong. Si Yong controlled the 4 shields, simultaneously controlling the 2 spirit weapons to attack Luo Feng. I don't believe that at close range you can withstand 1, 2, 3 attacks or even 10 or 100 attacks. Si Yong roared. Burial. Luo Feng roared softly, unleashing his strongest blade. The blade's light was dark and fierce, immediately crossing 10 m of distance and slicing at Si Yong. And the blade's light was infused with a piercing killing intent. The energy was simply shocking. The surrounding space was under the blade's control. At the tip of the blade's light, there was a golden glow. Dim Shadow 7 Ultimate Saber. Burial. It's no use. Si Yong laughed loudly. The 2 shields blocked the attack. The first shield was knocked back by the impact, but the second shield was still able to resist the saber. Rumble. The 2 huge dragons behind roared and attacked Luo Feng. Luo Feng squinted his eyes, simultaneously releasing the blade in his hand, his right arm immediately elongating. What was originally a normal person's right arm, in an instant it brushed past the side of the shield and extended fiercely, reaching 10 m in length, and the life crystal too rushed into the extended right arm. The 2 huge dragons smashed into the black-clothed Luo Feng's body, immediately causing it to explode. Fresh blood and bones flew everywhere. What? Si Yong looked at his right arm that had instantly expanded to 10 m in length. He was shocked. Why did his arm grow longer? Is it because of the armor? It's no use, his body has been destroyed. Even if his life core hasn't been destroyed, without a physical body, he can't unleash much power. Si Yong wasn't shocked at all. A human's body strength had to go through the spine, muscles, etc. Once the body was destroyed, leaving only a broken arm, what use was that? The blade's light flashed, immediately slicing through Si Yong's neck, piercing into his body and sweeping through his internal organs. A blade light pierced straight into his life core, causing it to shatter. How can this be? Si Yong stared wide-eyed. How can a fake arm extended from the genetic energy armor unleash such a terrifying blade technique? With his body destroyed with just a broken arm, how can he unleash power and attack? The moment of death, Si Yong's mind flashed with many thoughts, after which everything shattered and his consciousness was destroyed. The 2 huge dragons collapsed, revealing the 2 spirit weapons. The entire world also collapsed. The endless amount of sea water immediately vanished, revealing the destroyed forest. The spirit weapons fell from mid-air. The shield too fell. Si Yong fell. Cheat. The broken arm immediately became a black energy. The black energy gathered and formed the black-clothed Luo Feng. The black-clothed Luo Feng's eyes were filled with fatigue, but also a sense of madness and excitement. Success. Luo Feng looked down at the falling Si Yong's body, thinking, a true human with his body destroyed can only use spirit energy attacks, unable to use his body for close combat. However, the Mosha clansman is an energy life form. If I want to change, I can change into millions of forms, not just a broken arm. Even if it becomes a cloud contact vine or a rock, I can still attack. The Mosha clansman had countless transformations. When it became a human, its bones, muscles, skin, organs, hair, eyes, nose, etc. were all exactly the same as a human. If it was injured, its bones would break. If it was hit too hard, it would spit out blood. Everything was exactly the same as a real human. And if it became a golden horn beast, similarly it could mimic scales, horns, and even the engravings on the scales. Of course, the bigger the size, the more shocking the energy consumption. Even if the Mosha clansman became a golden horn beast, it would only be a 10 m long golden horn beast. If it wanted to become a 10 kilometers, 100 kilometers long mountain-like beast, it would probably deplete the energy within the life crystal in a short period of time. Night. The cold wind blew. The entire mountain forest was in ruins. The black-clothed Luo Feng gazed below. I actually used the Mosha clansman to kill Si Yong? Luo Feng himself was excited. Even though the Mosha clansman is strong, its strength lies in assassination. A true 1v1 battle. In the universe, there are many stronger than the Mosha clansman. Like the 12 pinnacle bloodlines of the space beasts. Which of them weren't indomitable? Like the ancient pictures of Blood River World's ancient monsters, they were also indomitable. And one of the pinnacle races of the universe, the mother nest of the bug clan, and the metal and plant life forms, these were all terrifying beings that weren't any weaker than the golden horn beast. They were all 1v1s, incomparably indomitable. The Mosha clansman is strong in assassination. I actually only need to kill one of Si Yong's disciples and transform into that disciple. Simultaneously unleashing my natural ability, copy, I'll completely copy that disciple's life energy. Luo Feng thought. This way, even if I get to Si Yong, he won't be able to see any problems. At close range, when he's defenseless, I'll instantly kill him. This is thousands of times easier than fighting him head-on. Luo Feng was clear. Letting the Mosha clansman assassinate Si Yong wasn't challenging at all. The main thing was that the natural ability copy was simply too sick. A person that looked exactly the same, not just on the surface, even the energy was the same? He couldn't find any problems at all. Even in the vast universe, amongst the countless races, the Mosha clansman was an assassin clan that made countless races tremble in fear. If it wasn't for their natural ability being so powerful, they wouldn't have the title of the universe's strongest assassin clan. We can kill him. Although Si Yong's comprehension of the laws is weaker, I was still able to succeed despite the absolute difference in power. This also shows that I've improved a lot in these 80 years of cultivation. Luo Feng was overjoyed within, gazing at the messy forest below. After Si Yong's death, his internal world shattered and the surrounding forest was filled with large amounts of treasures. Luo Feng kept Si Yong's space item and these treasures, casually taking away the more valuable ones. As for the other items? How much wealth could a world overlord have? In the universe, having 10 mixed elements was already considered strong. Much less the aboriginals of Blood River World. Only a few of them caught Luo Feng's eye. The other items added together didn't even amount to one mixed element. With Luo Feng's status, he could get them for free from the virtual universe company. Whoosh. Luo Feng rushed into the sky, leaving behind the destroyed forest and Si Yong's corpse, along with large amounts of treasures that had no value to him. However, half a day after Luo Feng left, this place was discovered by a team. These items, even some domain lords would covet them. This team immediately went crazy, even killing each other internally. And because of these large amounts of treasures, it created a bloody storm within Swallow Mound City. Countless people excitedly fought over them. At the same time, news of Si Yong's death spread. Si Yong's death. Immediately the other world lords from the surrounding worlds began to attack and fight for territory. Si Yong's power was quickly destroyed. There wasn't even anyone to avenge Si Yong, much less help him capture Naku and Nabu. This is what Big Brother Feng left for me? The silver-haired youth Naku brought his father and finally found a place to rest. Only then did he begin to inspect the space ring, and with one look he was shocked. Cuckoo, what's wrong? Nabu was curious. Big Brother Feng gave me large amounts of wealth, a lot. Compared to our family's wealth back then, it's tens of thousands to millions of times more. Naku was shocked. Nabu's eyes gleamed. Our Na family will definitely rise up and become even stronger than before. With this wealth, it'll be much more convenient in the future. Naku, we made the right gamble back then, we made the right gamble. Naku nodded. Within he was worried for Luo Feng. Big Brother Feng said to go block Si Yong. In the following days the news of Si Yong's death spread, especially the location of his death. When Naku and Nabu found out, they couldn't help but be shocked. Obviously, the place where Si Yong died was where Luo Feng was waiting. Big Brother Feng killed Si Yong? Lord Feng killed Si Yong? Naku and Nabu were shocked. Luo Feng naturally didn't know what happened after in Blood River World. After killing Si Yong, the Mosha clansman rushed into the sky and returned to the automaton ship, before leaving Blood River World. Standing within the ship's control room, Luo Feng turned to look at the vast continent behind him. This was a world that was completely suppressed and monitored by the virtual universe company. Let's bid farewell here, little Naku. When I reach the domain lord level, I'll be a governor in the universe. As for sector lord level, it'll be life and death training. I'm afraid I won't be back for a very long time. I hope the next time I come to Blood River World, I'll still be able to see you. Luo Feng knew. He estimated that within 1,000 to 10,000 years, he wouldn't be able to return. However, he still had many suspicions regarding Blood River World. One day in the future he would have to return and investigate properly. In the distant space filled with mist, an incomparably huge palace floated. This was Tianshi Palace. Because of this palace's existence, the many warriors of Blood River World, from the endless ancient times till now, never dared to come out. They could only hole up within. So, the Tianshi Palace in space was even bigger than a normal planet. At this time, a little dot flew out from the palace and swiftly headed towards Luo Feng's automaton ship. It was a black triangular ship with a diameter of about 800 m.d. Your Majesty Luo Feng, how do you do? I'm Mo Luo Ku from Tianshi Palace. Congratulations Your Majesty Luo Feng for completing your training in Blood River World. As the ship neared the automaton ship, it immediately sent a message. Very quickly, under the guidance of the ship, Luo Feng arrived at a vast hall in the first level of Tianshi Palace. This hall was about 1,000 kilometers in length and width. Luo Feng kept the automaton ship and stood within the hall in awe. Within the hall there were many other ships, almost taking up half of the entire hall. Every ship, according to Luo Feng's judgment, they were at least E-grade ships and even F-grade ships. Your Majesty Luo Feng. Dressed in a silver armor, six-eyed, blue-skinned sector Lord Mo Luo Ku led the way. He spoke fluent universe language, his voice slightly resounding. You've actually stayed in Blood River World for 80 years, that's really shocking. The main reason is for the Blood Warrior mission. Luo Feng smiled as he walked. Different from Blood River World, even though there were many races there, most of them looked normal. However, the human race in the universe was too vast, with countless races and appearances. Blood Warrior mission? Your Majesty Luo Feng has completed it? Mo Luo Ku was shocked. Luo Feng nodded. Wah, congratulations Your Majesty Luo Feng. Mo Luo Ku smiled. I've received many geniuses who went on missions here, even those from the Battle Axe Coliseum and the Universe Mercenary Alliance. However, those that can become blood warriors are few and far between. This is because to absorb 3 crystals, normally one has to stay in the ancient god ruins for a very long time. Many don't have the patience, and the ancient god ruins are very dangerous. Luo Feng nodded. The two walked and chatted. Even though they didn't intentionally walk too fast, within a few minutes, they had already traversed 1,000 kilometers and arrived at the staircase leading to the second level of the palace. The staircase was incredibly wide. Every step was 100 m tall, 10 kilometers long and 5 kilometers wide. The entire staircase was almost like glass. Looking up, Each staircase had over 1,000 steps, forming a spiral structure. To go to the upper level of the palace, there's only this way. Sector Lord Emo Luo Ku smiled. The two became beams of light and flew along the staircase. There's no need to go up. Just arrange a universe ship for me and send me away. Luo Feng asked. It's the leader of Tianshi Palace, he wants to see you. Sector Lord Emo Luo Ku said. Leader? Luo Feng was shocked. The leader of Tianshi Palace, what kind of identity was that? He was a high and mighty being that oversaw the vast Blood River world. Even within the Virtual Universe Company he was definitely an absolute being that ruled over the entire Blood River world. Sector Lord Emo Luo Ku's eyes were filled with envy. Smiling, I've been in Tianshi Palace for so many years, yet I've never even met the leader. However, our leader has unbelievable power. With him overseeing Tianshi Palace, those undyings and ancient beings from the undying shrine of Blood River world never dare to come out. For the leader to see you, it's your fortune. Why does he want to see me? Luo Feng was curious. The leader of Tianshi Palace, such an identity, he was probably at least a universe country leader level, maybe even stronger. Otherwise, how could he overawe Blood River world? To geniuses, those absolute beings didn't have to care too much. Those existences were all ancient and tyrannical existences in the universe. How would a small fry like me know the reason why the leader wants to see you? Sector Lord Emo Luo Ku smiled. My authority is only to send you to the second level. I don't even dare to go up after that. However, there will be people from above to receive you and send you directly to the 9th level to meet the leader. As soon as he finished, the two arrived at the second level of the palace. Luo Feng glanced at the nearby 3M tall man with messy hair and a huge axe on his back. In a trance, that tall and sturdy man was like a majestic mountain that made one's heart palpitate. That aura was even more terrifying than the Ganwu Universe Country's God General 13 from back then.